Well, hello everybody. Come on and follow us to our next adventure at Huntsville State Park, just outside of Huntsville, Texas. It's gonna be a short drive, so stay tuned. And once we get there, we'll make sure and give you a walk around the campground, as well as a sneak peek of all the different activities and ventures of Fred and Ethel and Boomer 2. Stay tuned. Well, hello everybody. This is Reagan, your RV Traveler's Voice. Thank you for staying with us as we've made it our way to Huntsville State Park. Just a few miles southwest of Huntsville, Texas, in the southeast Texas Piney Woods area. And we're gonna take you for a walk around on this park. It is very large compared to a lot of the Corps of Engineers and Forestry Service parks we stay at. It is a state park, and it has 157 campsites. Yes, 157. So stay tuned and bear with us here. And if you have a particular campsite, we're going to put the campsite numbers in the video. You can scroll ahead to find the campsite number that you're interested in. They also have 30 screened-in shelters with water and electric as well. And they have several large day use areas. They have bathhouses, they have dump stations, they have fishing areas, several fishing docks, as well as other amenities available. The campsites range from full hookups all the way to primitive tent campsites and screened-in shelters. So a little bit to offer for everyone here. So stay tuned, stick around, and we'll take a walk around. Well, just past the entrance gate and the nature center, you'll take the first left and come down to the peninsula that is known as the Raven Hill camping area, and that's where a large number of the sites are. And we're going to start with Raven Hill sites 1 through 25, and these are the full hookup sites. So if you're looking for full hookups, they're all in this one little loop, 25 sites. They're all pull through, and we'll take a look. And we're gonna make our way into the loop. And you'll see it's basically a narrow road with sites on both sides. And we'll start here with site number 1. As I mentioned, they're all pull through sites. And this one is just inside here, a relatively short pull-through site with the picnic table and the fire ring in the back. Just opposite on the left side, you have to come in the road from the other direction. You'll find site number 2 here, another pull-through, kind of facing out into the middle, and you'll see the remainder of the loop there through the trees. This is site number 2. Coming up on site number 3, pull through, and you'll see a mixture of full concrete picnic tables, the older ones, and as they break down or need repair, they replace them with the a little more modern picnic tables. Number 4 here with this pop-up on the left, backing out into the center area here. One thing I will say about these here first few on the inside and the outside, they do have a pretty good upward slope. I don't know if you can pick that up from the camera or not, but that is one of the challenges here in the loop, is getting your rig level. They do tend to slope a little bit from the left to right, and even more front to back. So just be aware of that when you're choosing. Number 5 here on the outside of the loop. Surrounded, most are surrounded by trees, so you do have some good shade at different times of the day as well. Number 6, one of the longer pull-through sites. You have a little extra space as you come up to this side here. You'll see, and it is a little bit more level, at least left to right, front to back. There is still a pretty significant slope. Number 7 here on the outside of the loop. Number 8 here is empty. Also pretty good slope from front to back. Left to right seems pretty level though. It is here on the corner, so you'll have a little extra space as you make your way around the loop. Number 9 is one of the few back end sites here. It backs into the woods here on the corner. And we come down the hill to number 10, the second of the back end sites. Pretty good site if you really want some space away from your neighbors. No one near you on either side. And you do start to look down into Raven Lake, an inlet of Raven Lake as well. A little difficult to get to the shoreline here, as you'll see as we come around. It's a little swampy here. I will mention that there are many prominent signs warning you that there are alligators here in the lake. We've been here several times and have seen some alligators, but none close enough to cause any issues, but still need to be aware. On the inside, we come to site 11 here. And back to the outside, site 12. Also a nice view overlooking the lake. And as we come to these outside ones, pretty much all the way on around the loop, all have stairs down to their picnic area down below. 13 here, up on a little hill. So a little short area for the axles to sit, and then it starts sloping down to the front. Number 14, also a waterfront site here, overlooking the lake. Fairly level side to side and sloping up from the back to the front. 15, another one of the two-tiered outside sites. Basically your tent or your camper parks up top, and then you make it down to the steps to your picnic table and the waterfront below. And at the end of 15 is a small day use area. There's 2 picnic tables here with some overflow parking for day use or walking down to a place you can get down to the bank and do a little fishing. Just across from that day use area, you'll find 16 out into the center of this loop. Your picnic area there behind. Number 17 as we come up on it here, facing out into the center. Picnic table and fire rings a ways up the hill, a little bit up the hill from you. And we skip to 19 because basically 18 is no more. 18 is where the day use area is. And 19 is this here area on the corner. Another split level camping and facing somewhat out over the lake. 20 here where this big rig is pulled up on the inside. See, they had to do some pretty significant leveling here yesterday to get it level, facing out into the center. 21, down from 19. You do have some good space here between number 19 and number 21. And it does slope a little bit side to side and from front to back, but not too bad. And I'll walk on around 21 and you'll see one of the challenges with 21 is that your steps down to your picnic area are on to the front, towards the front of your campsite. It's not much of a challenge, just wanted to make you aware. On the inside we have site 22. And its picnic and fire ring up there into the center. Site 23, and this is where we are. Fred and Ethel parked here. And side to side, we had some pretty significant leveling, about 4.5 inches. Side to side we had to level. And front to back, it does start to slope up pretty good in the front, and basically had to lower the tongue down to the pavement to get us in there with our long Ethel. And you'll see we do have our stairs and picnic table here are towards the front of our rig. 24 here on the outside is one of the camp hosts, and this host here has responsibility for our circle here. He's doing a fine job, Mr. Bullet Welch. Thank you very much for your service. 25 is here on the inside, the last of the full hookup sites. And we'll take a look back at 25. This is also another of the camp host sites as well, so it may or may not be open when you choose to come here. And looking back at 24, I'll pan around and show this is the closest bathhouse. The bathhouses here do have, on the end of this building, they have locking individual shower doors. So unisex showers with individual locking doors to the outside. And the other side of the bathhouse are your standard restroom facilities. I will say that throughout this park, there are several overflow parking spaces as well. If you want to bring your boat up a little closer than to the boat ramp and leaving it, there are some long parking spaces here. There are also a lot of pull-out parking spaces for the trails. As you see some hikers coming across there. There's between 7 and 10 miles of trails throughout this park. They go up and around and across and all the way around the lake as well. So quite frequented by bikers and hikers as well. We're going to move on to the water and electric only sites, starting with number 26 here on the outside. Nice shady. It does slope down towards the street, but side to side looks great. 26, another nice and wide, level side to side, back end site, water and electric. 28, it's relatively short and a narrow site, so a smaller rig or pop-up would work here. 29, we're coming up on a very long site, kind of level side to side. Also, I want to point out that between 29 and 28 here, you will find there in the background an entrance to one of the walking, hiking trails. Number 30, also sloping down to the street, and fairly close here to 29 as well. 31, a wide and long campsite with your fire ring and picnic table there. And just past 31 here on my left, to the right, you'll find a few sites. Number 32 is a back end, water and electric, probably more fit for a tent type camping here, given that your parking lot is really just or your parking area is just parking spaces. And right across from 32, you'll see the playground area, and gets a lot of use from the kiddos, and the bathhouse that we took a look at earlier. And right next to 32, using that same parking area, is site 33. And getting back to more RV sites, you'll see site 34. It is quite a bit sloped there from left to right as well as down to the street, so it'll be a little bit of a leveling challenge. 35 here as we come up to it. See, it has a little bit of a slope. And also the picnic tables, while being out front, they're also out there in the back. And we're going to swing around to the inside of the loop. This is an accessible campsite with a paved area all the way back to your picnic table, and a means of getting back to the restrooms there as well. So this is on the inside, or I'll call it the right side of the road as you're coming in. Now back to the outside, 37 there, backing up here. Still fairly close to 8. And back to the right side. 38. And you'll notice here, there's some water running across your pad here. This campground has a lot of natural springs. So in the spring, when the rains come, the springs do run. So I'll try and point out where I see them, those with springs running across your site. 39, fairly narrow, but also pretty level site back here into the woods. Right next to 40, also here on the left side, going down this Raven camping area. 41 here on the right side, long level site as well. You do kind of look out over the sites over here on this other loop we'll come to here in a moment. 42 here on the left. We'll see we'll say these down through here on the left hand side. You can see in the summertime they will get the afternoon sun pretty much. 43 here on the inside. And it appears to have a couple of picnic tables, an extra one over here just out from you. 44 is on the left, double wide site there, backing up into the woods. 45 on the left as well, backing out into the woods. 46 is kind of the last in the string down here on the left side coming in, and you'll see it backs up to a large bath and shower house there. And we're going to make our way down this small loop. Of course, that's 47 to 58. Several of these are going to be along the water. And we come to the first site. Most of these are going to be somewhat small, as you notice here. 47 and 48 here on the inside as well, on the left. Fairly short site with your picnic table and fire ring here close to the road. 49 is kind of off by itself. Slopes kind of down back towards the waterfront. And you are kind of in a peaceful area overlooking the water. Site 50 here on the inside. Another relatively short site. Does have a paved path over to your picnic area, your table and fire ring. So somewhat handicap accessible as well. You have an extra picnic table up here at front too. Over towards the water you have site 51 with this small runaway backed in here. It does slope down right to left and a little bit towards the front, but you do have great views of the lake down below you. 52 is also pretty well spaced out from 51. Nice overlook, but it is another relatively short, narrow camping pad. And we come to 53, probably one of my favorite view sites here. You get a nice view of the lake there, as well as everything out your front is towards the lake. And you are a ways away from the nearest neighbor all the way back here at 52. And it's a long, level site as well. Site 53, and we'll take a look straight down it as well. So overall, very good site there, 53. Swinging around to 54 on the inside, relatively long level, pretty level site, but you are out into the center with your picnic table and fire ring here, pretty good ways off from your camping area, your camping. And right next to it is 55, and we're back to some of the short sites here. Very short. It is double wide, but it is a very short site. And we come up on 56, another waterfront site, but you are fairly close to the rig next to you. But you have a good view of the water. It is a short site. It does slope down from front to back pretty substantially. And 57, also pretty good front to back slope down. But you are here by the water. The 58 is interesting in that it is accessible both ways. You can back in from either direction. And you are out in the open a little bit, not quite as much shade. This is 58. And 59. Another very short side here water and electric backing up to that picnic table. And you do have the water here, fairly close. I'll say that 59 does have this extra parking area with an extra water spigot there. This probably was intended to be a tent-only site at one point. Then we come to 60, also a short back-end parking area with your tent area out there. This is water only. We're coming into a lot of the water only sites now. And the bathhouse is just on up the hill just a little bit. We're going to make our way down to 61 through 75. And this will be a lot of the water only sites. Here on the inside is site 61. The outside is 62, and there's room to park a camper there if you want. But again, these are water only, and they do have some significant slope to them, front to back. 63 is another one of those double driveway area tent sites or primitive sites, water only. Great views of the lake here though. 64, another double driveway here, coming on around the curve as we look at the lake in the background. 65, tent area with the bathhouse in the background. 66, kind of interesting in that it has 2 picnic tables, 2 little driveways. It's all one tent area. 67, looking out over the lake. It is a 2-tiered with a little walk down to your picnic table and campfire ring down by the water side. 68 on the inside of this loop. Pretty good parking there for several vehicles for that tent area. 69 brings you on around the corner here and still waterside. Lots of parking, but it does slope down significantly to the back of the site. We come to 70 here. Is level. Paved barbecue grill area with a fire ring in the back. This is area 71 with a couple of back end areas, parking areas with a picnic table, fire ring down below, and some relatively clear waterfront there. Easy access. I did get down to do a little fishing blow here today with moderate success. Picnic area 72. There's kind of a wide parking area here, lots of area for parking. And then your picnic table, fire ring down by the water too. This is 72. 73, tent area. A couple of spaces for parking. Plenty of room for tents. 74 is on the inside here. A couple of different picnic areas, as well as paved in the back, all the way to the fire ring and then out to the parking lot, and easy access to the bathhouse. So this will be a handicapped accessible campsite probably as well. And site 75 offers you plenty of parking, a couple of picnic tables and a barbecue grill as well. And across from 75 you'll see scattered down through here several day use picnic areas with generally with barbecue grills and picnic tables and some dispersed water spigots to get access to fresh water. And towards the end of this loop, we come to site 76. It's a full hookup site, but it is for the park host out here by this bathhouse and such. 77 is back to the tent areas. And this parking area for 77 shares it with the next tent area as well. You are up from the fishing pier there in the background. 78, also on the same parking area, another tent area for use right up from the fishing pier. 79 is just across the road to the left, along with 80. It's a long back end site. It is water only. And 81, large paved driveway there back to the tent site. And we're going to pan around here towards the fishing pier. It does have a fish cleaning bin, as well as a nice pier out there overlooking the lake and several day use picnic areas and barbecue grills right here along the lake. And we're going to leave Raven Hill and move into Colony. And here we are at site 82, and we continue on. These are all water only sites. Inside, nice long water only sites. It's a shame they're water only. Unless you want to do a little boondocking, I guess you can do down here. 84 here on the outside, overlooking the lake. Long sites, do slope down quite a bit though. 85, a short site, but also has pretty good slope down from the street down to the back of your campsite. 86 on the inside, a couple of different driveways there. 87, a long sloping side as well. 88 on the inside, backing into the trees. Here we are at 89, also a pretty good slope downwards to this tent site. 90 will get you back into facing the trees, as will 91. A good slope to get up into that one as well. 92 is back down towards the lake. You do have your dumpster right here at 92. Picnic table, fire ring all down below it. 93 is back around on the left. You do have a fire ring picnic table there. 94, another beautiful lakeside view here in this tent site. 95, also facing back into the woods, and a big slope from left to right. 96 here on the outside going down this road. Picnic table, waterfront down there. 7 on the inside here, the last one before we cross the creek. 98, the last of the tent sites here before we cross the creek as well, also waterside. And we come to site 99, and this is a little different in that it is still primitive camping. It's still water only, but it is a platform tent available for reservation. Kind of a mini cabin. And there'll be several of those down here on the water side. A little ways past 99 and kind of up the hill a little bit is the bathhouse serving this section of the campground. That brings us to site 100. And this is another of the primitive sites, but it has the platform tent, mini cabin, and with a nice view over the water. You have some nice sunset views from these campsites. And you'll notice they built a ramp down to the ground there, so help with getting down. Now we have a cluster of these platform tent sites. This is 101, and it's far away from 100, but it is close to 102, which is what we're coming to right here. That's 102 and 103. Excuse me, that's 104. So we'll stop here at 102. We'll hit 103 and then we'll come back to 104. 103 is just opposite on the inside of the loop. Nice driveway, a little uphill slope. And now we hit 104. Also with some great afternoon, evening views of the sunset on the lake. 104 right here. At the end of this loop, you find several picnic tables that meet up with the trailhead. So help out those hikers and bikers that want to stop off for a picnic lunch, as there's a number of trails that make their way through the woods here. And we make our way up to 105 here on the left on the inside of the loop. Still see the bathhouse in the distance there. This one also handicap accessible. And we'll take a bit of a pause. Right across from 105 is the trailhead. And you'll see lots of parking spaces here. As we mentioned, several day-use picnic tables and fire grills. We're going to take a look at the trailhead map. And here at the trailhead, Huntsville State Park trails, there are 4 types of trails: the prairie, the dogwood, the chinkapin, and Triple C trail, shortest being about 1.5 miles and the longest being 8.5 miles. And we'll put a picture of this in the video as well, so you can pause and study a little bit more about the trails. And we come up on 106, a very short paved area for one, but they also have a second one there to get you into this tent site only. And 107 here on the outside tent site, and this is another one I'll point out from a spring perspective. When we talk about spring, the water springs, you'll see they cross the paved area, and you have a spring there between you and the picnic table out there. 108 out here in the woods, but also a few springs in this area. 109 is the camp host. 110, another tent only with quite a few springs crossing through. 111, another camp host site here. And we come to 112, another tent site here. 113, also close by, same side of the road. 114, another tent site, but it's over on the left side of the road. Pretty good down slope back into it. 115, a little short back end site here. 116, a little back end site here on the outside tent site. 117 has two driveways here, kind of off by itself, backing into the woods. 118, an accessible site here with paved way back to the picnic area and barbecue grill, as well as back to the restrooms there in the back. 119, a double drive back into the woods. Coming up on 120 here on the left. And wrapping up with 121 here on the right. And just to set the record straight, this nice block building that we've come at from all directions is a bath and shower house. It is a newer version. And so we'll take you inside and let you look around at the facilities there, so you get an idea of what the newer version is like. And this is the inside of the new bath and shower house. Nice fixtures, hand dryers, and the showers all have solid doors and little separate dressing areas, along with the handicap area. Has plenty of space and a nice bench there. All in good shape. And now we're going to start with the Prairie Hill Loop. And it is basically, you come straight down the road from the entrance past the Ranger Station, Nature Center, and you'll follow this road all the way down to the other end of this peninsula. And all the way down on the left, you'll find picnic areas like this. These are all day use areas. This is a large day use side. And there are also, as well, 26 RV, water, and electric sites, and 30 screened-in shelter with full water and electric as well. So we'll take a look at those as we get further down into the loop. And I might have said Prairie Hill, but it's actually Prairie Branch. And we're going to go down through the RV sites first, sites 122 through 157, before we make our way to the shelters. And site 122 here is the park host for this group of RV sites that are water and electric. And making our way into the loop, we come to 123. Not too long of a site, but it is wide, and it backs a little uphill, but once you get in there, it looks fairly level. You'll see the lake in the background and the boat ramp, excuse me, the fishing pier. I'll get it right here in a moment. And we make our way to 124 here on the left. It does slope down to the road pretty significantly. It looks pretty good right to left. 125 also on the left. nice long, fairly level site. And you do back right up to your nearest neighbor, and you have a little paved walkway between you and the sites behind you though. 126 is here on the corner, and a little odd site. It is long and level, but your picnic area and fire ring are actually behind the rig there. 127 is a nice long flat site, fairly wide. You do have the trees here on the right to contend with, but overall not a bad site. It is a corner site. 128 here on the left, fairly short site, but is level, and with your picnic table and fire ring there behind you though, and the bathhouse is right behind you. 129 also on the left, long level site. It does have a paved walkway up to the bathhouse, so this is probably a handicap accessible site. And right across from 129 is 130. Fairly long and level site as well, and private area out to your campsite area. 131 here on the corner. Long level site, but it is the park host, camp host site. 132 is another park host site, and they have a nice little free little library here outside of that as well, so nice job, camp hosts. 133 here on the outside of the loop in this little sub loop. Long site, but it does slope down towards the street. 134 is a short site backing up to a relatively short area into the woods there with your picnic table behind you. 135 is a nice site. It does slope a little bit towards the road, but overall a nice site if you want a secluded site backing into the woods and no nearby neighbors until you get out front, and there's another site over there, but overall good site. 135 and 136, the last of this little sub loop of sites. Long site, slopes a little bit down front to back, but overall fairly level. Back on the main loop road here, 137, relatively short but level back end site. 138, very nice site, back in and with a paved walkway up to it. It is right across from the bathhouse. 139. A little odd in that the picnic table and everything is off behind you and not on your campsite side, but fairly level site. 140 on the outside here, backing into the woods. A wide site, but it does have a pretty significant slope down to the road. 141 also on the outside, a long level site, not too close to your nearby neighbors. You do have a couple of extra parking slots there. And at the end of the line on this loop is 142, and it is right beside the trailhead, a sandy walking and biking path. There are several parking spots here at the trailhead, as well as site 142. And right next to 142 is 143 here, facing out over the lake. Nice sunset views of the lake. It is a short site though. Double wide, but relatively short. Brings us to 144 here on the inside of the loop. Does have a pretty big hill to climb up to get back in there, so be aware of that. 145, relatively small site and a pretty good slope backing down towards the water, and you are right next to your neighbor there. And we're here at 146. Great views of the lake, but it is a short site and backs you down towards the water, sloping down pretty good too. So, but overall, can't beat the view and the access to the water. 147, your camp areas would be behind the rig. So you back down into this very short site. Also significant slope right to left and from front to back. 148, this little teardrop site. Pretty good slope down to the road. Overall, left-right is pretty even. And you are nestled amongst the trees with the bathhouse in the back. And 149, a great, another one water view site, but it is relatively short and very steeply sloped back, front to back and right to left. 150 here on the inside, nice long level site, although your camp area is behind you. At 151, you are pretty much on the water, a short level site with the paved path behind you along the lake there. And right across you have 152 here on the inside with your picnic table there by the pathway. Long level site. All right, here we are at 153 on the inside. And nice level, long level site. 154, as with the others along the water here, very short and steeply sloped back towards the water. 155 is a double wide, handicap accessible, long level site here on the inside. And this is the second of the fishing piers over here on this Prairie Branch side. And we'll make our way to 156, back in site that's kind of off by itself, but your picnic area is behind you as well. It is a slope down towards the road, but left, right, pretty level. 157, the last of the RV sites. It's double wide. It backs down to the water. It is long site, but it is very steeply sloped front to back. And we definitely need some blocks on the back to raise it up enough to be able to drop the tongue to make ours level. So as much as it is a perfect site by the water, it'd be hard for us to level out there. 157. And here we are with the shelters, and we'll start with shelter number 1. They're all screened in shelters. They do have generally long paved parking areas, pads for you could park a big rig or RV here, as well as just your vehicles. They all have water, electric, and sewer, full hookups. No sewer, sorry about that, no sewer, but water and electric hookups, 20, 30, 50 amp, and a nice screened in shelter, and picnic table, and a fire area. Screen shelter number 2 is right here. And we do have a boat ramp here. Boat docks. Screen shelter number 3. Shelter area number 4. Shelter area number 5. All these shelters in this run on the right side back up into the woods. Shelter number 6. Shelter number 7. Shelter number 8. And it is handicap accessible. And across from shelter number 8 is the bathhouse. Shelter number 9 here, as the string of these begin to go along the water. It is a long site, level left to right, but it does slope down a bit from the road. Number 10, another long site, does slope down a little bit from the road. Number 11, also backing up to the water, nice sunset view of the water. Does slope down pretty good, has a nice little divot there in the asphalt too. Number 12 here, back in sight, not too bad of a slope down, right on the water. All these along the water have lots of space on either side of them. Number 13, a little bit more slope down, also on the water. And that's the last in this little stretch of shelters before you get to the bathhouse, which is right around here. And we're on to our next section of shelters. This is number 14, kind of off by itself here. And we're coming up on shelter 15 here. And shelter 16 there. Shelter 17. Shelter 18. 19, shelter 19 is actually full cabin style out here on the water. Shelter 20 here on the water. Shelter 21, it's actually a cabin as well. This is shelter 22, kind of out here in the middle. And shelter 23. We come to our last section of shelters. This is number 24. 25 is a nice pull through to this shelter. 26, the last shelter on this end of the loop. 26 out here on the peninsula, and shelter 27 out here on the peninsula as well. Great views. 28 as we make our way up. Pretty level. Nice waterfront site. This is 29. Shelter number 29. Bit of a slope up into it. Shelter 30. Last of the shelters. It's a pull through. Does have a bit of a slope on it. And just past the boat dock, they do have a self-serve kayak rental station. And they do have a nice lodge building for large group gatherings. And the other play area is down here. And in the day use area, they do have a large swimming area that's currently closed. I'm not sure how long it's going to be closed for, but definitely closed for the season. And besides kayaks, they do have down here at the boathouse canoe and paddle boat rentals, and a small camp store. Includes all the essentials, as well as essential things like bluebell and things for s'mores. Well, that was a wrap from Huntsville State Park. They've got Ethel all home and all cleaned up and ready to head to storage for just a short period, and then we'll be back out at it. So just stay tuned, and thanks for watching this Huntsville walk around and a little bit of a view of our various activities, and we'll see you on down the road. This is Reagan, your RV Traveler's Voice. Don't hesitate to ask any questions, like, subscribe, and happy camping.